Hi, welcome to episode number 3 of Real Life Anecdotes. My name is Rahul Iyer and I have got an interesting real life story today for all of you. In this story, I asked one of my clients not to do a Six Sigma project. Now, I'm a Six Sigma expert. Executing Six Sigma projects is my bread and butter. Then why did I ask this client they should not do a Six Sigma project? This is an interesting real life anecdote. So, stick with me till the end and explore some of the best practices of real life Six Sigma consulting. Also, by the end of this video, I have a special gift for you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video and my YouTube channel. Let's begin. A few years ago, I was conducting an in person classroom based Six Sigma training in India. The batch was full with about 30 odd participants. Out of the many batches I keep conducting, I discreetly remember this batch because one of those 30 participants was a doctor. A doctor in the class was an anomaly because doctors, lawyers, and other self employed professionals generally have a high income stream. This does not necessitate the need for them to focus on cost reduction methods such as Six Sigma. So, out of curiosity, I asked this student about his interest in Six Sigma, to which he responded, he is a doctor, but not a practicing one. He works as a manager with a medical transcription company. He went on to describe a little about the medical transcription business. He said that medical transcription is a part of the healthcare industry. It involves converting the doctor's dictated reports, procedures, and notes into an electronic format. These files represent treatment history of the patients. We receive audio files from doctors. These recordings are heard by medical transcriptionists in my company, who are also doctors, by the way. Their job is to convert this oral dictation into a written text document. We have to be 100% accurate and are required to convert each file within 24 hours of receiving it. It is a tedious and repetitive business operation. Well, the training got over. About 6 months after the training, I received a call from this individual. He sounded panicked. He said, "My business is not meeting its goals and we need to execute Six Sigma projects. Would you please help us with this?" Before I could say anything further, he said, "Our director wants to meet you. Would Saturday 9 a.m. be good time to meet?" I said yes. And before I could even finish my sentence, he said, "Okay, Saturday's appointment is confirmed," and hung up. So, I met the director in his office on Saturday exactly at 9 a.m. The director was also a doctor. He started talking about the problems the business was facing. He said that his business is not meeting the 100% accuracy target, it is not meeting the turnaround time of 24 hours, and there are so many challenges. We really need to do Six Sigma projects. He continued to share his challenges, and after every brief interval, he continued saying, "We really need to do Six Sigma projects." Whenever you start your consulting career, you must ensure that you have very well developed listening skills. I thought I too had some good listening skills, but those were really tested on that day when I was talking to the director. He continued to discuss all his problems and he went on for 2 consecutive hours. While I was doing all the listening, I was also observing his office and the shop floor, where his staff was seated. His office had this huge window from where I could see the main door of the floor. I observed that in those 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., his staff kept coming. A few came at 9, a few came in at 9:15, and a few came in at 9:45, and until 11 people kept coming. So, I asked him a curious question. "Does your process work in shifts?" He paused, wondering where did I get this question from. Then I explained about my observation of his office staff. And he said, "Oh, that's another problem, Rahul. My staff, they do not adhere to any of the policies and procedures. We are all supposed to come to work at 9, but rarely do people make it at that time. They do not want to attend meetings or respond to emails, and I have to live with this problem. The talent pool required for this business is specialized. We need qualified doctors, and the medical transcription business is not a lucrative career choice for doctors who aspire to practice and earn their living. Hence, I cannot fire people. How could I replace them? People know it and they take the benefit of this. I realized what his problem was. More than the process or performance issues, his business had disciplinary issues. In consulting terms, we call these process hygiene issues. And one golden rule is that Six Sigma cannot be implemented in processes where process hygiene factors are not met. But how could you tell this to him? He wanted to do Six Sigma projects so desperately that if I shared that in his process we could not deploy a Six Sigma project, there was a risk of hurting him. In consulting, it is very important to address everyone's views and opinions and still convey your point in a subtle but concrete manner. So, I grabbed a pen and paper and drew a table in front of him. I told him that whenever I do any consulting work, I grade the business processes into category A, B, and C. These categories are defined by two factors. One, are the process hygiene factors met? And two, does the process meet its metrics? I said, category C processes are those where the process hygiene is not met and the metrics are not met either. They are red. In these processes, we cannot deploy Six Sigma. Here, we do smaller lean projects, Kaizen activities, and best business management practice implementation. Category B processes are those where process hygiene is met and metrics may or may not be met. They are either amber or red. We can definitely deploy Six Sigma and lean in these processes. Category A processes are those where process hygiene is met and the metrics are green. To improve these processes further, for incremental improvements, we can deploy Six Sigma in this category too. After creating the table, I asked him to evaluate his business process on the given factors and asked him what category his process belonged to. He looked at the table, thought for a moment, and with a small sad face said that his process belonged to category C. I said, super, so we will do Six Sigma projects, but that would be a little later. Let's first fix the current issues by using some basic business management practices. He agreed. I told him it would take about 4 weeks for us to complete the first assignment to implement best business management practices. I would be here every Saturday for 2 hours and work with his managers. His managers would then continue to implement what I share throughout the week. You would get to see some great results soon. Just to take the story a little further, no offense to doctors, they are good at their skills. I have observed that they are never good at negotiations. At the end, he asked me how much I would charge for this assignment. As per my calculation, 30,000 rupees would have been appropriate for 2 hours every week, continuing for 4 weeks. However, instead of sharing my rates with him, I asked him what his budget was. With a small sad face, he exclaimed, "Our budget is 90,000 rupees only." I smiled and secretly thought, this guy is paying me 3 times more than my charges. I willingly said okay and told him I will fit in all the work in that budget. No worries. On the flip side, I did provide more than what I got paid for because their team was absolutely willing to put in all the work. So I guided them wholeheartedly and helped them overcome the situation at a much faster rate. I still continue to work with them. The director and I occasionally joke and laugh out loud whenever we discuss this particular situation. To summarize, you cannot apply Six Sigma in every situation. Deploying Six Sigma projects require the process hygiene factors to be met. There has to be discipline on the floor. The business process should be operational for at least 6 months, so the staff is well versed with the procedures. In short, the process should be stable. And if you do not see that the process is fit for executing Six Sigma projects, it is okay to let the client know that. They will appreciate your honest assessment of the business process and may end up hiring you as a consultant for a long term. So, that brings us to the end of this real life anecdote. As a special gift, I am providing you a downloadable template of the process due diligence grid that I used in this story. I hope you will love it. Please do share your comments and thoughts and ask your questions down below. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe this channel to stay up to date on my latest episodes. See you in the next video.